Good day, future educators. I've been asked to talk to you about problem based learning as part of the integrative teaching strategies. We'll get to know the strategies bounded to problem based learning and teaching, and how ill structured problems can be used in teaching using this approach. According to the Center for Teaching Innovation, problem based learning is a student centered approach in which students learn about a subject by working in groups to solve an open ended problem. This problem is what drives the motivation and the learning. Rather than teaching relevant material and subsequently having students apply the knowledge to solve problems, using PBL, the problem is presented first. PBL is often group oriented, so it is beneficial to set aside classroom time to prepare students to work in groups and to allow them to engage in their PBL project. How does PBL work? So to begin, the students are given ill-structured problems, and these kind of problems have just enough information to provoke an investigation. Students should not have enough prior knowledge to solve the problem on their own. These problems should have more than one correct answer, as the answer will most likely change as more information is found or gathered. Furthermore, it is important that the problems is meaningful to the students. They should be able to relate to the issue at hand. They will be more compelled to solve the problem and more likely to retain the information they find. Students should then discuss the problem and record all their prior knowledge. So how? So each group or individual can make a hypothesis, thesis statement, or working statement. This is more likely to change as more information is deducted through research. Next, students will brainstorm a list of questions that need to be answered in order to solve the problem. Students will use resources such as the internet, encyclopedias, and periodicals to answer these questions. It is most desirable for the teacher to decide already on what resources to be used. In this way, the teacher can notify the school librarian or gather resources in the classroom that will aid in the students' discovery. This approach also saves students from searching through materials that aren't really relevant to the problem. Designing classroom instruction. So the teachers will take the curriculum and divide it into various units. Decide on the types of problems that your students will solve, and these will be your objectives. Determine the specific problems that most likely have several answers, and consider student interest. Arrange appropriate resources available to students and utilize other teaching personnel to support students where needed. Decide on presentation formats to communicate learning. Example, individual paper, group PowerPoint, an online blog, etc. And appropriate grading mechanisms like the rubric. Decide how to incorporate group participation, like what percent, possible peer evaluation. How to orchestrate a PBL activity. So, teachers explain problem-based learning to students, its rationale, daily instruction, class expectations, and the grading. Serve as a model and resource to the PBL process. Work in tandem through the first problem. They help students secure various resources when needed. They supply ample class time for collaborative group work. And lastly, they give feedback to each group after they share via the established format. Critique the solution in quality and thoroughness. Reinforce to the students that the prior thinking and reasoning process, in addition to the solution, are important as well. So that's all. PBL is often used in many classroom settings and is also been considered in K-12 basic education. Thank you very much and attend this video with this quote from Sandy Buddha.